Good afternoon, Hokie Nation.
So, Brian, what are you drinking down there? That looks kind of
I've got
fresh.
a classic Tots rail here, ladies and gentlemen. It is delicious. I will be feeling it a little bit later, but that's okay.
It's a little PBR time. It's game day in Blacksburg. You got to have your PBR. I got my USA Coach Price shirt on, and it matches my PBR very nicely.
Only football stadium in America.
I think there was a little bit of a rumor mill going around that our quarterback might have been getting offers elsewhere. Do we all feel comfortable in Kyron being here next year?
There was never a more collective sigh in Hokie Nation than when Kyron asked for a sectional on Twitter.
that was incredible. That was low-key perfect.
You don't move a sectional.
Not to LSU.
He's moving in.
Hey, man, I feel pretty confident. You know, last year we sat here and I said, Ollie Jennings ain't come here to play with Grant Wells. Well, I know for a fact all these receivers came here to play with Kyron Jones, so we good, man.
Which guy outside of Jennings, Felton, Lane, and Gosnell, what other receiver will break out this year?
Aiden Green.
That's your guy.
That Aiden Green, dude, he was he got a lot of cardio last year. There was a lot of reps where he was just running routes. But I think this year, it might, man, if it looks the way in the game as it looks in practice, he's gonna put some things up.
Athletic Greens. Get him the NIL deal now.
You know, Keelan Brody Adams. I think he's going by Brody. He's Brody
on the roster
now.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah. Brody Adams. I mean, he's special. I mean, he has VHSL records at wide receiver. I'm really excited to see him because, again, like quarterback, it's about preparing for next year when they're going to have a mass exodus in that room. Who's going to come and step up? And I think he's one of the guys where if you watch his film in high school and you watch how he progressed, man, he's special. He's really special.
We have an embarrassment of riches at the wide receiver position, which is something – I mean, I've been following this team a long time. I think Trey said 2018 might have been competing with it. I said this is the best receiving corps since 2016, probably when we had Ford, Cam, and Bucky was basically a wideout.
And Devin Wilson.
And C.J. Carroll.
Oh, yeah, Devin Wilson. Shout out you.
Burgos has been getting a lot of love. Is that the guy that you think puts up either the highest or second highest sack numbers on the team?
Man, I'd like to see Burgos put up those numbers. I also look out for C.J. McCray. I think he's going to turn a corner this year. He's a guy that's moved from safety to linebacker and now to defensive end. I think he's a guy that could really put the pieces together, and I think he matches APR's skill set a little bit more in terms of getting after the pass.
There's a comment on from YouTube. Brian, chug that rail if you think we win more than 2 games this year.
Yeah.
There are 400 people watching Brian chug that rail.
Strap in.
Oh, let's go.
It's gonna be a day.
Position and that defensive tackle. I'm excited to see defensive
Oh,
tackle.
I'm pumped about the guys you brought in.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, shout out Pat for mixing in the water. It's about time, man. This defensive line, JC, great coach. I don't care what anybody says. I love JC. I think he's done well. And we got dudes running. We got tackles running over 21 miles an hour. Like, what are we doing? Copeland putting up, bending bars in the weight room. Like, dude, I'm excited for this defensive line.
This is a tough one, right? So this year we might see Dorian Strong play a little bit more nickel. He's got kind of a body type for that. I think that Price hinted at it a little bit, maybe even said it outright. If he's playing inside and you got Mansour on the outside, who's the other corner? Who's the other starting corner? Because Canteen is no longer here.
You gonna put me on the spot?
I'm putting you on the spot. Come on now.
Who can help me out over here?
Dante Lovett.
Dante Lovett.
Dante Lovett. Okay, that's what I'm thinking as well. That's right. Is O-line still the number one concern in terms of position groups going into this year? Or is there anything else that concerns you?
I think to level up, the O-line play needs to level up as well.
Okay.
If we're going to meet what we think we could potentially be, the O-line needs to take another step.
Okay. I'm concerned about linebacker. Even though Brumfeld comes in, they've been saying all the right things. He's coming up a level in terms of going from a G5 to a P5. There's no more P5.
Brumfield played Alabama. He played Missouri. 2 of the best rushing offenses in the country last year. Played really well in both those games.
Okay.
I am worried a little bit about linebacker, though. I think Caleb Woodson is a guy who could show out today.
Met his parents last night?
His parents, they were great. He's a guy who could show out today and take that step up. But I think for me, it's the linebacker plus safety filling the run gaps. That is the number one concern on the defense. Teams cannot hand the ball off and run for 50 yards right up the middle every single game. Cannot happen.
Sam breaking it down. All right, that's going to do it for segment number one. We're going to be. What team do you think has the advantage going into the spring game?
It's Murray. Whichever one Kyron's on.
Yeah, that's. I had the same thought. Kyron might only play a couple drives, but they'll put up some points early, and I think that'll be enough to ride it out.
Yeah, that was the concern for me, is that if Kyron goes in and only plays 2 drives, well, then we have Whitkey, and if you think Pop's number 2, then that might give Orange the advantage. Drift, I think you put something out on Twitter saying you thought Orange had the edge.
Yeah. Well, I think the offensive line is better on Baroche. I think the defensive line is better on Orange, so I think it kind of evens out. But I think we're going to get more Pop versus Whitkey today than we are going to get Pop versus Kyron, and so going Orange.
Okay.
I'm on the record on the spring game. It is an awesome opportunity to get to know the players. I love what they do when they have the entire team come out and you're introducing everybody, all the new freshmen, where they're from, and have the entire stadium get to know them. If you're coming here to Blacksburg to learn about the football team for next year, probably not going to learn a whole lot. That has kind of been my spring game mantra. I do think that it's going to be interesting to see some of the younger guys, especially at the quarterback position and the defensive line and the offensive line play. But we're pretty sure what the team is going to look like, especially at our skill positions going into next year. So I view the spring game as an opportunity to hang out with friends and have a good time.
And we did that.
And check.
We did that last night. We're doing it right now. And I actually didn't give Drift a proper introduction because he's from the BT4L pod.
Thanks, man.
I think I heard someone say Lovers, but that's for life or Legends. Which one
Legends.
is it? Legends.
It's
Okay.
Yeah, you know the history on the Legends. It comes from Dondi Fridays.
That's right. Liz.
There's some culture there. So. Yeah, I'm just a random guy from like Michigan. I love Tech. So, this is great for me.
So who is going to win the Caleb Smith Award today for a great standout performance that actually foreshadows a great season? I'll ask you first, Trevor.
So you mentioned wide receiver and Caleb Smith. I'm going wide receiver with this and Aiden Green. I know you talked about him on the previous segment. I just think he's a guy who's primed to have that breakout. Like, I remember the year that Caleb Farley had that huge spring game playing wide receiver. And he had gotten a lot of hype in the offseason. And then everyone was waiting to see what he would do. And he blew out at wide receiver in that spring game, which was awesome. He didn't end up playing wide receiver after that.
He would have been a great one.
He would have been a great one.
Had they kept
Yeah,
him there. Yeah.
absolutely. And by the way, Drift kind of looks like Caleb Farley.
He kind of does.
I want to point that out. So it gets throwing me off. I'm going to get a number 3 jersey for him.
Yeah, we got to get him that jersey. All right.
Halloween costume.
Does anyone else have a pick for a standout that's going to have a great season this year? Go ahead, Bill.
I'm going to go with Harrison St. Germain. I think
Let's
there's
go.
I think there's a lot of talent in the tight end room. I think he's a young guy. Tucker Holloway has said some awesome things about him. Jalen Lane has said some awesome things about him, and just continues to work, and I think he's going to have a lot of opportunity. Played really well against Tulane, so I'm excited to see his game grow and learn something there in the spring game.
What do you got, Sam?
Can I piggyback off of that?
Sure,
real quick?
sure.
We're not talking enough about how good the tight end is. Even losing Dick Holmright to Ole Miss, like Gosnell, 4-star recruit out of high school, has done nothing but perform when he's there. Nick Gallo has done nothing but do his job since he's been here. He's coming back. Harrison St. Germain, reserve guy last year, popped off later in the season, doing great. And then,
Didn't he have a touchdown in the bowl game?
had a touchdown in the bowl game. Yeah. So we don't talk enough about how important the tight end position is to this offense and how well they've done setting that position up for the future.
Drift, what's your pick?
I'm going Dante Lovett. So we talked about him in the previous segment. I think losing Canteen played a lot last year, and I think Dante Lovett's going to take those snaps this year, and I think we're going to see a good performance from him today. So.
He started to emerge later in the season, had some really nice one-off plays here and there, and with more snaps, who knows what he could do.
So I'll say my guy who I think is going to stand out, Aeneas Peebles. He was a freak in high school, but Tech didn't pursue him because he was too small. He hit the weight room at Duke, got really good. He's a quick twitch, Ricky Walker-esque defensive tackle. Really excited for him.
That's good.
What could we see today that says okay, we're definitely winning 10 games. Like, is there something you could see
You
today?
know how this goes with me. As long
wrong
as the
person
sun
asked.
if the sun is in the sky and the grass is green, as far as I'm concerned, we will find a way to win 10 games next year. And
Oh.
That's basically that's basically evergreen every single year. I think every time I see it there. No, I feel really, really good about this team, and I think this spring game specifically. Again, we kind of know what the roster is going to look like, give or take. You have another portal window coming up. We're figuring out the offensive line situation, but in terms of excitement around the program and excitement around the roster specifically, there's always been excitement around the program, but excitement about the roster and how many talented individuals we have in different rooms. I don't remember it being like this. I don't remember people breaking down the spring game. No matter what I think about it, people are so excited about this upcoming year. They've been talking about it for months now.
Since the bowl game ended.
Since the bowl game ended. So, yes, it has to be one of the more anticipated. What was the last season with this much anticipation? Seriously, anticipation for success, not anticipation.
I think the Tyrod years, when we knew that team was the best, one of, if not the best in the ACC. Since then, we haven't had a roster that is this well put together.
Yeah.
To me, it's you got to go back all the way to after 2011, after we were in the Sugar Bowl. I think we still had the expectations of like 10 wins and huge seasons. I don't think I've seen this type of hype since then. It's been a long time.
It's hard to like when you go back 2011's 13 years ago. I mean, it's hard to remember what you felt. I remember buying my tickets to the Boise State game at FedEx, and I was so juiced up for that year. I was like going to Gobbler Country or whatever the heck sites that were out there. There wasn't much, not like today, with all the content that's out there for Virginia Tech football. I would check every day for a new Virginia Tech article because I was so excited for the Boise State game, and that was a tragic end. But that's the level of excitement I'm starting to feel towards this season. I wanted to get a commentary from Drifter or Sam on the what could you see today that makes you feel more optimistic about the upcoming season?
I liked Billy's offensive line situation. That was a nice situation. It's a good word for it.
Yeah, right.
I think last year the offensive line looked pretty poor in the spring game and reflected in the season at times. And so, I don't know. I'd like to see that improve today.
You want to see him block?
It's got to be better. And we didn't bring in a whole lot of transfers, so it's got to be just improvement.
I think they did a fantastic job of basically Tech had to reinvent itself 2 or 3 times last year when you make the quarterback switch, and then when you really refine what he's able to do, and then you make more switches on what he feels comfortable and what he's best at. So I really think we've talked about that ad nauseum, how much credit is deserved there. But if you think about some of the other stuff that's going on in the spring game, not just players that have popped off and maybe haven't played as much. I mean, we literally had Caleb Farley had a one-handed catch as a wide receiver in the spring game. Like crazy stuff.
You see
stuff.
some wild things.
Right. You see some wild things. So,
we'll let Sam get in on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the line of scrimmage, like if it looks competitive, that would be good to me because that means we know what Fuga can do. We know what Peebles can do. We've seen them in ACC play. If this offensive line can step up and block those guys, or if those guys can make plays against a much improved offensive line, I think we'll feel good. If
iron sharpens iron, man.
If that's even,
yeah,
then you feel good.
I agree with that because I do think the D line's much improved. So if they can actually hold up and block, to Drift's point, to your point, it could be we could be in for a promising year, and I'm excited about having our coach here for a second year. We're going to do a couple of props, a couple of over-unders before we move on to segment 3. Sam put these together. They're incredibly detailed. I'm going to get to as many as we can here, but first TD in the spring game. Sam did this like he's got the plus here, man. Like best odds plus 257. Jennings is plus 400. Felton 525. Drones 525. Lane 525, and then other plus 1,000. You taking the field here, or are you taking one of those top guys? Go ahead, Trip.
So for me, you got to go with the odds-on favorite here. You got to go with Tootin. I think they're going to get Tootin the ball, and he's going to get an early touchdown.
Okay.
I read your tweet the first time you put it out, and I thought it was silly. And now the more I think about it, if there was ever a time to be like, hey, look, we're just going to go ahead and do this on the first play of the spring game and get people fired up, yeah.
Okay, can I talk about that real quick?
Yeah,
Wait,
can
yeah,
you
go
dive
for
into
it.
this?
Go for
Okay, the NC State spring game, they had their first string offense
Did
against
not
their
watch this.
third string defense.
I heard about it.
They
I
put
did
on
not
like
watch it.
50-something points. It was pathetic looking. That they put on a show for the fans. If I was Brent Pry, I would 100% rig the spring game.
Rig it for
Rig it.
points.
No. So what I do is I run a couple handoffs, maybe a swing pass. We're feeling good, but I tell everyone, hey, play 5. Defense, we're going to run a wide cover 2. Lane in the slot goes off motion, runs a skinny post.
Don't tackle.
New cleats. Guys slip all the time in new cleats.
So you're
Bomb it.
really rigging this thing.
Bomb it. Everyone looks. Defense doesn't look bad.
They're
The
playing in
guys
flip
slip.
flops in the
Just
secondary.
one play. ESPN top 10. Why not? I mean,
And then drones did great. All right, we're taking your helmet. Go sit on the sidelines.
I want to get Sam
We're
on the
good.
staff now.
Yeah, right.
We need to find a position for him.
Drift, what do you think on first touchdown?
Taking a Felton, and
No,
I
that's
like
good.
that. I like where you're going there. I think it's going to be a bomb to Felton, and
Yeah, Felton is on the Maroon team, so it's either going to be coming from
yeah,
drones or Wiki.
Felton on a hitch and go.
yeah,
Just bomb.
we've seen it all season, right? So
I've seen the script. All right.
would anybody be upset if we don't see Kyron play or he plays 2 drives or whatever? I'm going to reiterate. I don't care who goes out there at all. We have a great time.
Are you staying for the spring game? I'm hoping you're going to be here.
I can't put that out in the email.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody guessing.
He's coming.
Yeah, I'll be there. 4 quarters.
We're going to close this one out. Thank you, Drift, for being up here. Billy, Sam, Treadmill. You guys were awesome. Some of you guys are going to be back on the next segment. Woo! Stay in these chairs. We're going to do a quick picture. If you're watching on YouTube, back in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Just past 1,000 of you watching, listening.
Whoa.
We love that. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Pat's doing a happy dance in the back. You guys can't see him. So we're going to start all the way to the right and get some intros going.
Dan to my microphone.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to Dr. Jeremy. How y'all doing? I didn't know they were putting on loudspeakers. I want all the families out there to know that you cannot come within 100 feet of Dan.
I'm so happy that Jeremy's up here with me because we have Jeremy on every year for the state of the program, and it's a fucking treat. So I'm so glad he's up here with me.
Every single year, I say I'm not going to black out and drink too much, and every single year I black out and don't know how the podcast ends. And then I find out like the next day, Jeremy, you just vanished.
And Treadmill Horse.
Hey, so my name's Dan. I run Treadmill Horse, and watching Brian chug that rail
Really?
earlier
Yes.
was one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Yes.
So, shout out to Brian for doing
The reaction was funny.
Why, thank you.
The reaction was
Mrs.
funny.
Boundary Corner did not
Right now, Coach Pride
12.
is ranked 12th out of 17 coaches in the ACC, which is preposterous. But number one, I want to say, what has impressed you the most of Coach Pride from year 1 to year 2? We can either go in order, or if you're fired up, you can go first.
I'm fired up. A relationship building.
Mhm.
Relationship building has been impeccable. We have reestablished the 757. We've gotten Virginia recruiting back on board. We have been really consistent in the portal with filling holes when we need to, with supplementing some areas of concern. And I think just the interaction with the fan base and the way Pride does that has been really impressive to me. So, I mean, right now, I can't really imagine a much better scenario at this point, even though I was a little I'm not sure after year 1. Year 2 was amazing.
It's also really impressive that the relationships extend past who he's recruiting. I mean, this staff goes on vacation together. They treat each other like they're actually friends, not just people who work together. The entire culture around that building has been so impressive, and it has come from the top down. And also,
So this is home has been a marketing slogan here for a while now. I feel like when I hear from the players' parents about how Pry and staff treat them, and I actually feel like they're coming through with the "This is home" slogan. Everyone feels like it's family. Everybody feels like it's home. So I think he's really delivering on that promise as head coach, and I think that that's something that we wanted post Fuente, and I think we've got it in spades in Brett Pry.
Brett Pry came into Virginia Tech and he turned chicken shit into chicken salad.
Bars.
And just the fact, if you meet him, it just feels it's refreshing how genuine he is. He's very good at I call it the running for mayor part, like the public relations part of the job he gets. His ability to retain 86% of the roster in the current era of college football is remarkable. And man, I'm just happy to have him.
The kids call it Riz Dan. He's got it.
He's got the Riz.
Yeah, like whenever Pry comes into a room, it's hey, like going around shaking hands. So like the mayor comment, like that's pretty accurate. And he's got like the personality, which also if he were not winning or we didn't have confidence in him, we wouldn't care. It's the fact that he's continually improving, and we're always seeing him not being satisfied, even when a position group is not. Or is looking really good, he's still trying to add. He's still trying to get better at it, and that means a lot to us. Like that, I think, is the difference because I forget who said it, but someone said that Foo's mentality a lot of times seemed like it was, I'm going to beat you with what I got, and Pry's mentality is, I'm going to make everything I have better to beat you. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate what Pry's doing, and I hope it doesn't come back to bite me in any way, but I believe in the man at this point.
One thing that really stands out to me was the Boston College weekend first home opener, his first home game here in 2022. After Tech Talk Live, there's probably 70 people there at McLean's, and he took at least 3 minutes individually with each person after it was over, and I was like, he understands. Pry gets it.
Yeah, Pry gets it.
TM.
Thank you. So we're going to go down this list. Instead of saying, he's better than this guy, he's better than this guy, is there any coach on this list that one word comes to your mind when you see that given coach?
Bill O'Brien should be 16.
Dabo Swinney's a charlatan. It's one of these stupid rankings from some rando. They got Pry at 12. He's clearly not number 12 from what he's done from the past few seasons. Whatever. Let them put this out there. We've got hype. We've got everything going on. Everyone's coming to the spring game like it's this huge event. It's pretty much a scrimmage. We have a lot more hype than a lot of these programs. We have a lot more going for us than a lot of these programs. Who cares about these stupid rankings? Let these media people say whatever they want. Pry's got it. We've got everything coming to us. We've got momentum, and we're gonna ride it.
Bars.
Let him cook.
Bars.
So I actually like this one. Best Lane Stadium cheer or band song. So we can hum along to this one. We can submit it. You can't stick it in. I love the that one. I enjoy a lot.
Which one, Bill? Wait.
Bill, run that back. Run that back, Bill.
Give me one more.
Somebody else, please.
What about bail me out?
I like a good let's go Hokies. It gets everybody.
You like the Goblin?
Sandman's coming. Everybody loves that one.
I know for Pat it's go Tech.
Yeah, dude. H-O-K-I-E-S. That's the one,
Honestly,
dude.
one of my favorite hot songs, and they don't do it as much anymore, was in Castle when they would do Welcome Home from Coheed and Cambria. I love that song.
I would say.
You sing it?
Can I sing it?
Yeah.
You want me to see Coheed and Cambria?
Yes.
You want that?
Yeah.
No one wants that.
Yes, we do. Do you want it?
What is a top shelf rail? Is this just
They
It's
just use
just
better
fancier
liquor.
that, I don't mean to be disrespectful.
It costs $36.
That is unbelievably ungrit.
Ungrit.
I would just always order a dirt rail.
I'm a very ungrit person. So.
I was a rail with a shot of, it was an extra shot of, I think it was vodka.
You don't need an extra anything in a rail.
I
In
think
the third rail you do, he was 6'5". He's a huge man.
they make Red Bull rails. That's crazy. But I feel like rite of passages at Virginia Tech, rail tots. I'm gonna put Joe's Diner on that list. I love Joe's.
Joe's is great. Joe's a staple. Whenever people come to town and I'm trying to give them a novel experience that you're not going to get in those places, of course I'll send them to Cabo. I'll send them to McAdoo's, especially if they're from outside the region, because McAdoo's, there's only so many McAdoo's.
So they're waiting for an hour for their food.
Okay, I'm not going to shit
I'm with Jeremy. McAdoo's rocks. I love it.
McAdoo's is great. But if someone is coming to town and eating with me, and I'm going out and doing something, I'm probably going to go over to PK's because I like to go to PK's.
Pat, write this down. We need to put an auction up where we're auctioning off Weekend with Jeremy. We're going to go with Jeremy all weekend.
Terrible.
We will
That'll
start
be
the
the
bidding.
best or worst time of their life.
We will start the bidding at. We will pay you $20. Anything else that we need to? Anything else? That we need to? Okay, I'll ask the
Turkey leg question needs to come out.
Turkey leg of the game. Yes or no? First of all, yes or no?
Yeah.
I've only ever had it once in my life, which is, I know it's crazy. It's just hard to eat, honestly, like at the stadium. Like, and I'm not a big stadium food guy. I'm a big beer guy, so it just doesn't factor in. But it is good. Like, I do think it's a good food item.
I've never had one.
The
Never
turkey
had
leg
turkey
is
leg?
solid. So, like, I think the
Okay.
big question on here is, like, is a turkey leg shareable, right? Like, that's, to me, that's the big question. If you will share a drink with someone, you will
Absolutely
share a
not.
turkey leg with them.
And no, there's a big difference. I would go ahead and take a sip out of your meal. If you offered me your turkey leg, I would be like, nay, sir. No, there is no way.
I like the turkey. If you're willing to stand in the line for the turkey leg, I like it.
Time out. How
Okay,
different?
but
Would you share?
like
Would you share
pouring over your
corn?
hand?
It's literally. It's like corn. It's like sharing corn.
I will share corn with my wife. I will share a turkey leg with my wife.
That's right.
Corn
If
on
you're
the
sharing
cob.
it with a spouse,
Yeah, that's fine. Yes.
but a bro, a
Pete,
close bro,
Pete, here,
maybe. Here's
If you will drink from my beverage, you can eat from my turkey
Yo,
leg.
Pete, you try to share a
the only
turkey leg?
thing-
Time out. Here,
The only
Anyone out
thing,
there want to share a turkey?
honestly, it just depends. It depends on how hungry I am.
no,
honestly.
the only thing you can share from a turkey leg is if someone is in dire need of like some kind of greased up lubrication. And I'm talking dire. That no one's going to take a big old bite out of that turkey leg after you've done it.
Are you sure?
I hope not.
I'm so glad we asked this question. I know. Pat's a big turkey leg guy. It's almost like an accessory for
Dan
him.
and Brian,
bites,
I just
victory
finished
bites.
2 double Jameson draws up here, and you all are still on the same Miller lines.
I'm not on the same road. This is empty.
Dan,
This will spill
is
if I
yours
let it
empty?
go.
That's like less than a quarter left.
And that will do it for the spring game analysis. Thank you to our panelists. Thank you to our listeners, watchers, and attendees. Thank you so much, Mrs. Treadmill Horse, for taking this awesome
Yeah, shout out
photo.
Mrs. Treadmill
We hope everybody has a great time. I can't wait to learn so much about the football team here in a few minutes. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you soon. Pete, also, round of applause for Pete for setting this up.
Yeah, shout out Pete.
Let's go!
Hokies!
To the game.